We know what happened in the Weimar Republic in Germany, after World War I, and it's happening in other places in the world now, where they're trying to inflate their way out of it. But of course, that's just stealing your wealth. Okay, there's dollars in your pocket, as we're talking tonight, are becoming less valuable. If somebody out there is raising a price because of inflation, because of all this money that's been thrown into the system, and it's making you less wealthy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, and again, because I'm running for the U.S. Senate, I want you to think about a couple of these questions and give me some real feedback here. You can see my thing here, I voted today. And as I was voting, I thought, oh my gosh, I've only got 1 year now. A couple months ago, when Barbara Howe talked to me about running for the U.S. Senate as the Libertarian candidate, I was thinking, 16 months away. That seemed like a long time, but a year doesn't seem like quite so much. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is just get some feedback from you all on these questions, and help me to shape my own platform where it needs to be adjusted. So let me start off with that top one there. Is the government becoming more libertarian or more statist?
More statist.
I think it is too. I think we're going down the vertical line, not up. Everybody okay with that one? I guess I didn't that discussion. Okay, so I think we're all pretty much together there. It's deteriorating and becoming more statist. What about this question here? And I really do want your feedback here. I have no prepared answers here. What are your major concerns? And I think it's fair to use the word fear. When we're $11 trillion to $50 to $100 trillion in debt, and it's all about the land of your generation.
I think my main concern would be the fact that everybody does wake up to the economical issues, but that they forget the foreign policy issues and what the true libertarian route. And the libertarians are trying to fight off the neoconservative, the
right.
empire builders, basically. Right. I'm afraid that a lot of people in our country will continue to understand the economical benefits of freedom, but they'll, continue to ignore the non-interventionist or just war theory and those principles that we hold dear as libertarians.
And so let me hear you completely on this, Mike. So you're saying not just war, but you're talking about interventions of financial support and
all of it. I think
any kind of intervention.
Right, and I think war is a big issue. Obviously, it's the biggest. It's the biggest act of aggression out there. But on a level, I see a lot of people, supporting going overseas with our military when the Constitution doesn't call for it, when our Congress has not declared war. So there's issues, that I think economic conservatives here need to understand as far as foreign policy goes.
Yeah, how do we go and get financial aid out and do wars when we're in $11 trillion in debt? From the start with.
Yeah.
Make sure it makes
All right, here's something from Mike. Participating, sir. Yes, that's the Mike. Yeah, and then you want to piggyback on what Mike was saying?
Yeah, how we're going to be able to get financial aid to other countries and go involve ourselves in Iraq and Afghanistan when ourselves at $11 trillion in debt. Like, they have no business going anywhere else. China's probably positive and they take it into their own country for a reason. We're worried about themselves.
Participating, sir. Piggybacking on this, and I promise I'll let you all do the talking at this point. But I was on a radio show in New York. I didn't fly down here. I called in. And the lady hosting the show said, well, Mike, where do libertarians come down on the war? And first I have to say, well, I think it has to be plural. There's at least two that we're actively engaged in. So, and I told her a story. I taught in Germany during the summer for about 6 years in a row. I didn't teach the last summer. But I remember the first summer I was over there. I want you all to think about this for a second. I was teaching at the University of Mannheim, which is a great school. It's like the Harvard of Germany. It's a great school. And we're about halfway through the semester, and some of my German students came up to me and they give you the whole title thing, Herr Dr. Professor Beitler. I'm thinking, come on, you ought to be calling me Mike at this point. I've been here for 2.5 months. And he said, would you like to join us for July the 4th? strike anybody as odd? We're going to go out and celebrate July the 4th in Germany?
Germans aren't exactly fans of Britain.
Well, maybe. But I'm thinking it's kind of a stretch, isn't it? The Germans are celebrating July the 4th. I thought it was like a British-American thing. But I'm thinking, hey, I'm game. I want to see what you all do. So can you imagine, what do you think happened that night? Any idea? I mean, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, they want to take me out to celebrate July 4th. They take me out to an American military base when they're shooting all the fireworks. I said, oh, I get it. I said, oh, you have an American military base installation in Mannheim. And he said, well, yeah, we have 4 of them.
That city?
Just in Mannheim. We're in countries all over the world. And I kind of think this is where you're going, Mike. Can you imagine the financial burden of supporting the military all around the world?
11 trillion.
Yeah, a lot of that 11 trillion. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so foreign intervention is one. Okay. Anything else that's a major concern or fear? Yes.
I'd like to ask you more about one domestic issue, one in particular. What is your position on the fair tax?
You know, I like the fair tax more than what we have now. Okay, now I'm going to get myself in trouble here with my libertarian friends too. Mike knows where I'm going. Some of our more, how can I say this politely? So some of our libertarian members who are more anarchist or anarcho-capitalist have basically said, well, Mike, you ought to run on a platform of no taxes whatsoever. Now, wait a minute. My problem with that is we're $11 trillion in debt. How are we going to pay that back? My answer would be, now again, I'm not speaking for the whole Libertarian Party, but I think we need a sales tax with no exemption. My only concern with the fair tax, and like I said, I like the idea. It's much better than the IRS and all that mess that we have now. But my only concern with the fair taxes, there's still enough loopholes. I can see it would start to grow into some kind of a, you with me on that way?
Oh, I'm with you.
I'm so worried about it growing where if you think about a sales tax, okay, and I know some of you are thinking, gosh, it would be 30%. Well, no, because if we reduce the size of the government, okay, we could, if you want to talk about stimulating the economy, get rid of income taxes on individuals and corporations. You'll see where I'm going with this one? And replace it with a smaller sales tax. And the infrastructure to support that's already there. Because we already have a state sales tax. I know not every state does. Okay. And then we could abolish the IRS. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay. There's a couple other things I'd like to abolish, by the way. In my announcement speech, I made a comment about, we need to abolish the Fed. You could hear cheering throughout Greensboro when I said that. So I want to abolish the IRS and abolish the Fed. A decade ago, some of you probably remember, mainstream Republicans were talking about abolishing the Department of Education. What happened to that?
Commerce Clause.
Yeah, there you go. See, there you go.
I was thinking
right,
that's
you
all
have to
that's
catch all and do all.
That's a bridge.
But now, if you see what's happened, the Department of Education's gotten even bigger. And then he came along with No Child Left Behind. What if he asked what that is? Yeah, I'm with you all on that. So I made this comment at my announcement speech. I said, whereas Dr. Ron Paul is known as Dr. No in the House of Representatives, I'll be known as Dr. Abolish in the U.S. Senate. Because we need to go in, because when you're talking about 11 trillion, and really even more than that, to be honest, we can't talk in terms of, 2% off of this program and 4 off of this. We need to abolish whole agencies at this point. And the IRS is one of us got to go.
Probably cost more than the word.
That's right, what?
Probably cost more than the word.
I think it's probably, think about that. I mean, I've had people say, they're getting notices for trivial amounts of money and they're threatening,
legal action and so forth.
And how much money it costs to put people in jail.
Exactly right, yeah, what is that? You put somebody in jail with $27,000 a year just to house them, and to collect $1,500 worth of taxes. It makes a lot of sense. Yes, sir.
My biggest fear in the coming time is prolonged